Welcome to Motivate You, the Winner Circle here. Your host, June Archer, and I am excited about my guest. If you guys know how I do it, there is always a special guest. So without further ado, my next guest is no stranger to the hot comb and a flawless sewing. For over 20 years, she has identified her passion for hair and has walked in her purpose ever since. As a teen, she turned her parents' East New York, Brooklyn living room into an after-school salon. Y'all know how that is when people starting out. You got to get that, best foot forward. And
Yep.
later becoming the owner of Elegance of Amor, a luxury hair extension line, and a renowned celebrity hairstylist for some of your favorites. Please welcome to the show, Cherie Amor. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Great morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm so excited, as I always tell my guests, super excited to have the opportunity to sit down. I want to talk about being in your parents' living room and setting up the salon. Take us back to what even inspired you to want to do hair.
My sister's gonna kill me for this, but I actually started doing hair because I had two younger sisters. They were my foster sisters, and my mom knew how to braid. She was a really good braider, but my sister was like an immaculate braider, where she did like the crazy things, and she knew how to do like creative stuff in your hair. My mother didn't know how to do that. She was just a straight braider. And Trina is her name. She would do their hair better than mine. And I would be like so upset. So upset. And my mom used to be like, it's okay, baby. I'm gonna whip you up. But her whip up wasn't they whip up. So I used to be upset. And I used to always say to myself, I can't wait till I get a certain age so I could be able to do my own hair so I could show her. And that's exactly how it all happened.
Now, when people have dreams,
Hmm.
Sherry, like some of the people closest to you don't always see the bigger picture. They don't always see your dreams. You had the opportunity to really set up shop right there in your parents' home. How was that for you to be able to get that support? Because some people don't get that support right off the bat, and they're
Hmm.
struggling to figure out a space, and they may not have the opportunity or the clients to go out and rent a chair or even open up a shop. For
Right.
you, how important was it that you had that support at home?
It was very important. My mom was super supportive. My stepdad was super supportive. My father was on the outskirts of the home, and he was super supportive. So my mom always knew that was something that that was a gift that I always had. And to believe it or not, I really wanted to be a boxer.
A
That was the
boxer.
a boxer, the ultimate goal. I was very
Okay.
good at fighting, boxing, kickboxing, just playing like that. Period. I did box for a while when I was younger, so that was the real goal. And then that didn't work out too well. My mom was like, that's just too much. That's not girly. That's not girly, And doing it was something I always knew how to do. So she said, okay, well you can do people here and here. My mother was a very neat person, a neat freak. So it did stress her out that every time she turned around there was strands of hair somewhere. No matter how clean I was, it was a strand of hair somewhere. But they were super supportive, and I was super appreciative of that. Most parents don't see the bigger picture. Most young girls are told that that's not a real job.
Right.
You have to be
Right.
a nurse. You have to be a doctor. You have to, you need a 401k. You need like a lot of my friends would have never been able to pull that off. And I have friends who wanted to be hairstylists, but in their homes, it was like, that's not a real job. How are you going to survive off of that? But my mother always seen the bigger picture, and she always spoke, good things into me, into my life. She always prayed over me. So it was a really good thing, to the point where she even started making me charge at the age of 12, 13, because that's how good I was. She was like,
Mm.
we got to charge something, you know? And it
How
just went
how
from there.
how important? Because you made a really really good point in terms of people not seeing the big picture, right?
Hmm.
How important is it for us to educate our young people or people who are looking to dream another dream? Like they have gone the route of becoming a doctor, lawyer, teacher, nurse, and they're
Right.
coming up on the end of that where they're retiring, right?
Hmm.
How important is it for us to teach our young people that in the creative space, you can have a sustainable career? Because yeah, 401ks, pension, those are the buzzwords that feel like you're giving you security. But now we're seeing everyone from musicians to recording artists, to stylists, to graphic design artists, everyone in the creative space, it's flourishing and it seems so attractive. But how do we put those dreams and aspirations in our young people to let them know that you can have an amazing career where you get paid and you can make a great deal of money being in this creative space?
I think that is extremely important. I have a 16-year-old son, and I speak life into him daily. But it also comes from a place because I understand it because I'm in it. Sometimes when you're not in it, you don't understand it. But even now, not even being in it, right? Social media has shown us, especially through the pandemic, that owning a business, having your own, right, can be the most amazing thing. So I think that we have a way better, we have more understanding on how amazing something can actually turn out if you just start. So you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Get it?
Wow. Say that again, Cherie. Cherie, say that again. Because
You
some
don't
people,
have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to be great.
along the way, you just talked about your mom praying over you, speaking life into your dreams. Has there been a piece of advice that you've been given, whether from your mom, stepdad, your dad, who are also supportive, that you lean on now that you could share with anybody who's looking to be a master barber, hairstylist, makeup artist in these creative spaces, that you could tell them, hey, listen, this is what I was given, this little piece of knowledge, this piece of keys to success. Take this. It will help you in times of doubt. It will help you in times of when you hear a no and you're waiting for that yes.
You have to know how to fight.
Mm.
You have to be a fighter, and it has to be embedded in you. So if you don't have it, you got to get it from somewhere, because you will bump into the roads of depression. You will
Right.
bump into
Right.
the roads of being discouraged. Things will
Mm-hmm.
not work out for you. The money won't be coming in. Things will slow up. You will bump into things in your relationship that will sidetrack you. You will have friends that will do certain things that'll sidetrack you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to fight. You have to know how to fight. And it doesn't always have to be a violent fight. It doesn't always have to be a vicious fight. It doesn't have to be a competitive fight. Fighting just simply means keep going no matter what. Period.
Do you feel like your experience with boxing, being a boxer, translated into having that mentality in terms of mentally being able to get out of a corner, mentally coming out and really being strong? How did that boxing mentality help you as a business person?
Um, Boxing comes with discipline. Every sport actually
Yes.
comes with discipline, right?
Yeah.
So, growing up, right, and doing boxing, we learned to have patience. That you don't have to be the first person to back. You have a whole lot of patience. So if somebody somebody starting with you, it's like, all right now, all right. You learn how to like walk away only because
Right.
you know the damage that can be done on your behalf. You get what I'm saying? Because you learn pressure points. You learn how to punch properly. Street fighting and boxing is totally two different things, right? So if you're throwing your hands with someone like me who is equipped for the fight, that's an automatic loss. Because you haven't gone
You
through
catching an L.
the proper protocol to be in the position that you're in. It's the same thing in any field that you're in. Just knowing how to fight. Having so much discipline. Getting attacked with your emotions. Your emotions will have you drowning. You
And
have to
that's
deal with
that,
a lot of things through logic.
especially as a boxer, right? Like you.
Yep.
The famous quote from Mike Tyson is, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face."
Exactly.
So you
Exactly.
everyone has a great business idea. Everyone feels like they could be great at what they see someone else doing until that one moment that they come up against adversity, a roadblock, a door slammed in their face, their first no. It's
like, oh no.
Maybe I shouldn't be doing this, and that's so far from the truth.
Right.
So that discipline, please, like continue to inspire people with that, because I love that, and I thank you for sharing that with me because that's a transparent piece that a lot of people don't share. Has there been a time where you said to yourself, man, Cherie, I don't know. Everyone's speaking it into existence for me, but I'll come up against like my seventh no in a row. Like I took an L too many times. Talk me
Yes.
through a time where you really had to really dig deep, go into the corner, and the bell is getting ready to ring. You got to go back out, and you're like, I don't know if I have it in me to go out and fight again. Like I've been defeated. I feel deflated.
Right. This recently just happened to me. So we in February. Well, we're going into February. November 4th, I went into I had to do an emergency surgery. I had to get my fibroids removed. And during the surgery, um,
Talking to Cherie Amor from Here I Am, and we're talking about how she ran up against adversity. So uh, adversity is a big thing. So she's going to explain to us uh, what her adversity was when she was stuck in a rut. So go ahead, Cherie. Still can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So November 4th, I had to do an emergency surgery. I had to get my fibroids removed. They lost me on the table. They had to resuscitate me. I lost a whole lot of blood. And on top of that, I had to get 3 blood transfusions. With getting 3 blood transfusions, I caught an allergic reaction to the blood transfusion. And then I gained a whole lot of weight, but it was water weight. You know how a person look when they have lupus?
Yep.
That's how I looked. And that's how I felt. I couldn't use the bathroom on my own. I can barely walk. It was very bad. It was such a crazy experience for me. And during that experience, I went into a deep depression. When I came home, I wound up losing the water, but I lost a whole lot of weight. I lost about 40 pounds. So I didn't look apart. I didn't feel apart. I didn't feel myself. And I was in a very, very dark space, right? Now, some people will take that as a negative, right? And it doesn't take much for me to get my stuff together. I snapped right back into it. But I was in a deep depression. I didn't have I didn't have an appetite. I wasn't eating. It was bad. I sat in the dark living room for about 2-3 weeks straight. But in the process, God was revealing people to me, certain friends, insane, and God-fearing friends too. Like, sometimes we get tricked, right? Because the truth of the matter is we have people with a mouth full of scriptures and a heart full of hate, right? And we don't realize
Wow.
it until we have
Wow.
front row seats to it. So a lot of people use the word and use the Bible and they use church to play these mind games with you until you actually have front row seats to actually figure it all out, right? So I was hurt by a certain situation that had occurred, but that was just God's way of showing me what it was. But then God also said, you're always a person to always approach something. This time you're not going to approach it. You're just going to have to learn how to cut people off and leave them where they at, because the truth is that where I'm trying to take you, you would have taken them with you and they're not ready. They got to be left right here.
Wow.
And the only reason why you're going through what you're going through is because you don't sit down. You're always busy and you're doing a lot. I had to put you in a position where I can actually talk to you. So talking to you in the dark and isolating you is the way that I'm going to do it. Then that is the way that is going to get done. And some people don't understand why they're going through certain things. But we all go through certain things for a reason. Period. So while I'm sitting on my couch and I'm going through this whole transitioning of trying to figure out where I belong, not only, with friendships, but even in this industry, because we all know that I've been doing hair for so long and I no longer want to do hair. Not necessarily no longer want to do hair, but I just want to deal with, my VIP clients. And now it's my time to be on panels and speak out and teach, right? Push people into their purpose, push people into their lane, get people to start walking on the right tracks, because we didn't have that growing up. We had our parents, yes, but it wasn't so many people who intervened. When we had career day, we didn't have millionaires come into our schools, right?
Right.
We're the upcoming millionaires. This is my millionaire year, God. we're going to tap into that, right?
Most certainly.
So when we come into these schools, we're able to really give them the real and show them something different. I know when I was growing up, my career day was police officers, you know,
Yeah.
teachers, and, you know, a nurse,
Lawyers. Yeah.
lawyers, you know, right? So we didn't have that. You know, we didn't have, and there was business owners and stuff like that, but they wasn't coming to the school to teach us how to own a business and what you got to do and how to get good credit and stuff like that. So honestly, our children, they have a head start because they're learning that early in the game about credit. You have YouTube, you have things that you can just look anything up and just be great, right? They don't have to wait for the actual teachers, for somebody to come into the school
Right.
to teach them.
Right.
They could tap
Right.
right in and just get to it. All these hairstylists, they don't have hair licenses. They not going through the proper protocol. They tapping right into YouTube. They picking up the skill and they're becoming great. Get it? So in that process, in my downtime, God was just revealing certain things to me, and He made such an amazing shift immediately. Do you know that within that time that I decided that I'm going to move to Atlanta, I actually officially moved to Atlanta in May because I outgrew New York. Sometimes we don't know when we outgrow places. We try to stay. That's relationships. That's places you live in. Anything. And when you outgrow it, it's time for you to move on. And sometimes we don't want to take the leap. We don't want to take the jump, but we want the blessings and we want this dream and we want all the things that we ask, but we don't want to put in the work. You know what I mean? Now, I've created a lot of greats in New York City. I have a lot of women opening up shops, flipping up gates, and being great, but they started with me. They didn't even know how to braid down for a wig. So, you know, that goes to show where my greatness really, you know, where it really lies. I have people that sit in my chair and we have conversations about relationships. And when I give them my story, they're like, wow, I think that I can go home and I can work this out. I'm not married, but I've been around marriages and I've seen some fail and I've seen some prevail. But the truth of the matter is, you think that they was together for 30 years and ain't go through something real?
Right. Right.
You get
Right.
what I'm saying? And you have a whole lot of single friends. Where's your married friends? When you get married friends. Not the single
Mm.
friends. The single friends can't tap into that. They're gonna tell you to do the opposite of what you should be doing. When you're supposed to be working things out, they're telling you to leave. Marriage is for better or for worse. So why is it so easy for you to just get up and leave? That's not a relationship. So it's all
Right.
about surrounding yourself with the people that's ahead of you in the game, in any area that you are.
Right.
If I'm a newlywed and I just got married, I want to be around a couple that's been married for 10 years so they could teach us something.
Right.
You know
They've
what I'm
been through
saying?
something. They've been tried. They've been tested.
Right.
Like you have to be in the environment of the, you can't expect to be as great as Michael Jordan and you hanging around guys that been
Exactly.
sitting on the bench. And there's no disrespect to those who are coming up. But if you put yourself in the environment of greatness, of
Hmm.
people who are forward thinking, it allows you to grow and develop. So that's an amazing point. And for you sitting behind that chair, Cherie, like you hear stories.
So
For
many
you,
stories.
you are able to pour into people from behind that chair. And you are, the crazy thing is you're in a position of power because you're right here.
We're a
You-
whole therapist. A whole therapist. I always said, this is years ago. I'm like, I don't just do hair, I touch hearts. That's a real thing.
wow, wow. All right, so I want to talk about as we talk about that because you've been transforming lives for some minute. Now you have a program. Here I am.
Here I am.
I want to talk about Here I Am and what that means to people who are looking to get into it. Talking about collaboration over competition. How did Here I Am come about?
So here I am came about because I was in jail, right? I was arrested. I'm not a criminal, guys. Um, Real quick, I was on my way to Charlotte. I had my son in the car. My goddaughter had just started college, and I was gonna go check on my business, check on my dad, and down there. And on the way there, I was coming through Virginia, and I was speeding. I got pulled over. The officer said I was doing 115 in the 70 lane. I said, no, I wasn't. My car is in cruise control and it doesn't go past 85. So being that he couldn't stick me with reckless driving, he seen that my son was in the car and asked my son how old he was. At the time, my son was 14. So that is called child endangerment. I was arrested on the spot. I was taken in and I went back and forth to court. I was facing a year in jail for child endangerment. Hired a lawyer, and I wound up getting 40 days. Another moment in my life where God sits me down because when you're on go, sometimes God can't get a hold to you, right? So I was about to go into a very bad business deal with a very close friend, which I'm so happy that we didn't go that route, because now we're still able to have our friendship, because I don't think that that would have worked, right? But I was about to jump in head first because she's my best friend, when technically that's really not how business works, right? You're supposed to think things through and not just do something just because it's a family member or a friend. It has to look good, sound good, and if it fails, at least you went in with a game plan and you knew exactly what you was getting yourself into. And that is called jumping into something with your emotions, something that we talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward, um, when I was sitting in my cell, I was locked down for 18 hours a day, insane. And God put this in my lap. He said, you want to come from behind the chair? Now, this was 2019 or 20. No, this is
Wow.
2019. He put this in my lap. And he said to me, he said, if you don't execute it, I'm going to give this project to somebody else. Because you can sit on something for a long time, and then you
Yes.
look up on social media and somebody done did it. That's because God gave it to you and you didn't do anything with it. So he moved on and gave it to somebody else. Because we don't have time to play. Because the truth is, we need Here I Am. It's a necessity to the industry. Right? So it turns out to be a hair thing, and it's called Here I Am, HAIR, because I am a hairstylist. But overall, it's open for the whole beauty industry, whether you do makeup, and then it goes into even people who's trying to be entrepreneurs, right? So when I started off, I was locked up in the month of August. I executed that event in March. March 1st, I had this event. I only had room for 100 people, but 276 people showed up.
Wow.
And every time somebody tried to order a ticket, I said, there's no seating room. I only have standing room, and they didn't care. And this is the thing that really blows my mind, right? Because normally I'ma just say it because I'm just real like that, right? I feel like a lot of these women empowerments are full of crap. I feel like sometimes people with a certain audience or who have a certain plateau, they're able to pull it, and it just becomes a money thing. But the truth of the matter is, women are leaving empty. They're not getting a damn thing out of these women empowerments. So with mines, even though it's called Here I Am, I wanted to have people on my stage, not because they have a big following or not because they're huge, right? And I will have an event where I'm going to have heavy hitters on the stage. But sometimes you got to have the heavy hitters who are not known, who are real millionaires in real life and who got a whole lot of things going on, but you just don't know because they got 500 followers on the gram. But they really live in a lavish life. And a lot of the people that you're looking up to don't really have it, don't have what you think that they have, because social media allows you to be whatever you want to be. So you don't always have to be real on there, and people don't get it.
Wow.
So
Yes.
for my panel, I had a whole bunch of hairstylists who own hair salons, not just a hairstylist. Not somebody who, you get what I'm saying? I will have panels for just hairstylists or how they came in the game. I will have panels for, and then it'll start going into different makeup artists and this and that. But for my first panel, I had salon owners and I also had the people on the stage who opened up the door for me, who was in the game longer than me. So you got to pay homage to the people who opened up the doors for you and the people that you looked up to. We can't forget about them because we made it, right? Or maybe we may have became bigger, or not necessarily bigger, but publicly bigger than them. So we have to bring those people back in, because those are the people who paved the way. See, most of the people that you're praising are not the people that paved the way. Those are the people who are way much more creative in what they do. But these people right here is the people on the back end. Ain't no movie without people being in the back.
Right.
Get what I'm saying? There's no any of this without somebody being in the back. So we're going to pull the people from the back to the front. All the bosses, all the people who went through all the bull crap and the workers and the disrespect. And we're going to talk about how we don't know how to work for another Black person. Because we'll clock in for Target and be at Target at 8 a.m. And we'll get paid our little $15, $20 an hour. But then we'll come into a Black establishment like a hair salon. You pay booth rent, which is like $200, maybe $300 a week. But you could potentially make $2,000 in one day in that person's establishment, right? Because let's be for real, a frontal closure install is $300 a person. You do 6 of those, you do the math. But you don't want to show up to this place of business on time. So when your boss say, I need everybody to be at the shop every day at 10, in your mind, you pay booth rent. So you paying to be there, right? So you don't have to follow no rules. You don't have to follow no regulations. You could come in whenever you want because the plan is that you're only gonna come in when you have clients. But the truth of the matter is, the whole point of me of getting a business is so I don't have to be there. Get it? Hiring workers and having employees is for you to be there. And whether you have a client or not, you still supposed to be there. Because what if we have a walk-in? I have nobody there to take in a walk-in. Absolutely nobody. It doesn't look good when the gate is down at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon because they have a lack of understanding. But the truth of the matter is, whether you understand it or not, do what your boss tell you to do because you are in a space where you're making the bulk of your money that you will never be making anywhere else. But because I'm a black girl from your black hood, the girl next door, somebody that you could relate to, you don't want to do it for me because that's technically helping me get to the next level when that's the plan.
That is a plan, but I think you made a really good point in there, and I want to lean back earlier in the conversation. I don't think it's just a matter of not wanting. It goes back to what you said, discipline. Having the discipline, whether you have a client or not, it is showing up, right? We've heard it in the records. Rick Ross, you weren't with me when I was shooting in the gym. First one there, last one to leave. There's a discipline to it. If you can't be disciplined with what you're doing as an entrepreneur, but you're disciplined with only getting a percentage of the money because someone demands you to be there at 8 o'clock, there's a mentality here that's kind of backwards. Like you're hustling backwards. Like you should still have that same discipline. Hold yourself to that same standard of I come in at 8 o'clock. Matter of fact, I'm coming in at 7:30. So that minute that person comes in, the gate is open at 7:59. I'm ready to go.
But here's the thing: they have the discipline, but for themselves. Get it?
Right.
Like I'm gonna come in at 8 a.m. and leave at 3 o'clock in the morning because it benefits me. But if it benefits you, I don't want to do it. If I gotta pull up the gate at 8 a.m. and I ain't got no clientele, I don't want to do it because that doesn't benefit me. It only benefits you. Get it? So it's not even a matter of discipline because you got the discipline because you know how to do it for you. It's a matter of you feeling like you working for me because I'm the girl next door. But if it was Amy from Williamsburg that you don't even know, because 9 times out of 10 when you're working at these jobs, right, you don't know Amy. You know Karan because he's your supervisor.
Right.
But you don't know Amy. You can't call Amy. You can't reach out to Amy. You can't DM Amy. None of those things. You get what I'm saying?
When Amy sees you on the street, she acts like she don't know you.
Right. She don't know. She knows exactly who you are. She know you work for her establishment, but she's not gonna. You get what I'm saying? So for us, it's like we come into we run our businesses off of emotion, which isn't good either. Because I've done sat in a white salon. Literally just sat there. I even got my hair done just because I didn't just want to sit there. So I got my hair done because I'm trying to figure out how you run your business. Because I have a salon too. But it's not conducive the way your salon is being ran. So I'm sitting here because I'm trying to figure out how you running your salon. And the truth of the matter is that, number one, ain't no appointments ran through here without you coming through the salon. Because there's a secretary at the door that you have to see. You don't get to just walk to your stylist and book an appointment. You don't get to call your stylist and book an appointment. You have to either go online or you have to come in or you have to call so they could put it in the system for you to go see the stylist. And when you pay at the register. You don't pay the stylist. So really, honestly, it's protecting their brand. Because guess what? If they want to fire Cherie or they want to get rid of Cherie, they get rid of Cherie. But guess what? They didn't lose the clientele because the clientele came through the salon. Right. So for us, we so lenient. And because we know that, we have bills and stuff like that. And we know single mothers, it's a lot going on. So we try to give you leeway where you can make all of your money, the bulk of your money. All we asking for is $300 at the end of the week. But you could potentially make $7,000 in a week, depending on how much hair you do. And what about the black salons where we don't really have a cutoff time? There's times where I let people flip my gate up at 7 a.m. and leave out my salon at 3 a.m. You know how much money you made? But when I ask you to come in at 10 a.m., you can't do that. So now when we start making rules like, oh, my salon is going to be closed every day at 8, which that's how it's supposed to be, because Spanish salons and white salons, they are closed at a certain time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's organized. But because we like to be relatable, we want to be the cool boss. See, cool bosses, they don't last. You can't be a cool boss. You just got to be a boss. And you can't mix business with, you got to know how to separate the two. You get what I'm saying? So that event was immaculate. It was so big and it was so amazing that even two hairstylists that didn't like each other, they was working together, one was working for the other, they was able to get up and sort out their issue at my event. See, that's what it's all about. Coming together, becoming friends on social media again, showing each other love under each other's posts, because people don't like that. So, you know, clients and people, they like to separate us. They'll come to my chair, they'll talk about that hairstylist, right? And you'll entertain it because you're in your feelings, instead of saying, listen, do me a favor, we're not going to do that. We don't talk about other hairstylists here. Get it? Especially when I know them. Like, how does that even go? But instead, we entertain it, and then we get in our feelings, and now it becomes a hate thing where we can't come together, we can't do certain things. You get what I'm saying? So I just wanted to bring light to the situation that the more you come together, the more money you actually make. You get what I'm saying? If I'm selling a hair growth oil and you're selling a spritz, we can collaborate and we can both support each other. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even in our, and I'm from New York, so you know, New York, you know how that go. The hate is like to the
On
furthest
1,000.
extent.
It's
To the
on
furthest
1,000.
extent, whether they want to admit or not, we are getting better, but it's to the furthest extent, period. So, you know, if I make a hair growth oil and you had a hair growth oil, you gonna act like you happy for me. You gonna act like we cool, right? Because in the eyes of everybody else, they see us linked, right? But in all actuality, you don't like that I just came out with my hair growth oil. And as a matter of fact, you had a whole lot to say about a hair growth oil. You get what I'm saying? And then it comes out later and then you find out that the person was never rooting for you, all because you came out with something that she came out with. And it's not like you're not in the same field. Because if I do hair, why can't I come up with my own hair growth oil? You get what I'm saying? So that panel was like extremely amazing. It brought a whole lot of awareness, way much more unity, and people were actually touched. There were people at my event who thought it was just a hair event, but they showed up anyway. And when they showed up, they were blessed because, of course, I open up my events with prayer because we're going to pray. Right? We're going to pray on unity. We're going to pray that if you came in here with a deceitful heart, if you came in here with a hateful heart, that you will not leave the same. You understand? Whatever was troubling you, you're able to leave with a peaceful heart, with a clear, a better understanding. And when you left with knowledge and way much more information than you had when you came in here. These won't be events where you come and you're not getting anything out of it. You get what I'm saying? This is not events that you come just because you want to take a picture with the big dog. These are events that you come and you actually learn something and you apply pressure as soon as you get home. It's supposed to put fire under your butt to make you want to do better. So whatever you was falling short in, right, and whatever you was sinking in, we helped you come out of that. And at the same time, we have to leave some room where we can be contacted. I don't want you to just come to the event and then you hit me in my DM and I can't respond to you because you ain't Instagram famous or you ain't got a lot of followers, so I'm just going to skim through. If I have the time, I'm going to respond. That's why I pay an assistant, because if I can't do it, she's going to do it. We try not to leave nobody, you know what I'm saying, unread or not responded to. You ain't never too big. You can't get to everything and everybody and everyone. But then sometimes that's when it takes when you get on social media and say, hey, I see a whole lot of DMs or whatever the case may be, and I may not be able to get to yours, but just know that my heart is in this. You know what I'm saying? It just takes that. Something that small, something that minute, to be so grand or so appreciative for somebody else. So this Here I Am is going to be huge. I'm doing another one, but this time it's going to be in Atlanta, May 2nd. It's
May
already in
2nd.
works. It's
May
already in
2nd.
plans, May 2nd. And if you could come, I want you there. It's going to be
Say no
amazing.
more. Listen. I went to Browner Brothers. I think it's amazing. I've been to a couple of empowerment things. What you're talking about is needed. It is needed now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
After all the bumps and bruises, after having a successful event, having almost lost your life on the table,
Mm.
I want to ask you, what continues to motivate you?
My son, I'm living for somebody else. And the plan is, as a parent, to make it easier for them, especially our young boys. Our young boys don't have anything. Let's be clear. I'm opening up a network for them as well. We're having women empowerment. Women are not the only thing that matters. Get it? So I'm linking up with barbers and stuff like that to open up intensity for young boys. I'm actually opening up a teen lounge for my son, right? And the teen lounge ain't just for partying. They will have a party day, and that's cool, right? But they will say, like, a Friday will be motivational. We get somebody that we know that they love. You get them in one space and do the same thing that you do at Women Empowerment for teenagers, because they don't have that.
Right.
You do all types of things, all types of events to bring them into one place where there's hope. I feel like young boys, they don't really have much. They don't. Everybody can't be a basketball player. Everybody can't be a football player. That's just the truth, right? So the truth is, why are we not making our boys entrepreneurs? Why are we not putting them in positions to be able to take care of their families and raising real men and real boys? Because to be honest with you, men find their way late. They move out their mama house. They move in with a woman. They go through that whole transition. She gets to kick them out. And then he goes find a room because he really can't afford a crib. It takes so much for them to really get on their feet because they never had a head start.
Right.
Girls have head starts. I have 14-year-olds taking my classes. My classes are $1,000. But their parents are paying for them to come learn how to do hair and pick up a trade. What
Yeah.
we doing for the boys?
Yeah. We have to do more for them, especially now more than ever when the only thing that they see, the only images they see are ones of young men of color being hurt in the
Mm-hmm.
street, whether it's, black on black crime, whether it's police brutality. So we have to figure out a way. I agree. And if there's anything that I could do, uh, let me know. I would love to speak to these
Absolutely.
young people. I love pouring into them. Um, for you, this journey has been an amazing one, twists and
Mm-hmm.
turns. And I love
Yes.
everything that you said and how transparent you have been. Music is a soundtrack to our lives. And I love
Mm-hmm.
ending, my show on this note. What is a song or artist that best represents your journey up to this point? Because you haven't even reached the apex yet. I truly believe that you have so
Right.
much more left to go and so much more magic. As your shirt says, Black Girl Magic. You got so much more
Yes.
magic left to go. What song do you put on, or what artist do you vibe to when you need to get that extra push, or you're just in your zone?
It would have to be Beyonce. I Was Here. In the song, she goes, I was here. I lived. I loved. And she speaks on either the things that she has done, the impact that she's had on many people, and the things that she wants to leave for people to always remember her by. Because that's important, our legacy. A lot of people leave here with no legacy. A lot of people leave here and they didn't have a major purpose. Get what I'm saying? So when I leave here, I want people to always think of me in a certain way. My image is everything. That's why I try to live up to what I speak on, and everybody slip and everybody fall and everybody make mistakes, but I get right back up. And if I have to be transparent, if I have to get on social media, if I have to publicly apologize, and that's exactly what it is, period. We can't keep hiding behind curtains and, we pointing the blame and we always want to shame somebody else. And as soon as we do something, we don't want to take accountability publicly when we want to take accountability privately and then get back up and want everybody to respect it. Absolutely not.
Where can we find you? Where can we follow you? And where can they get information about the Here I Am conference coming in May in Atlanta?
Yes. So I want you guys to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Cherie Amor, Cherie _Amor, CHERIE_AMOR. I'm always there. And my Facebook is the same thing, Cherie_Amor.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching and listening. This is Miss Cherie Amor, celebrity hairstylist, entrepreneur, business owner, and creator of the Here I Am conference.
Yes.
Make sure you follow her, like her. We are going to continue to pray over you that you continue to be a blessing to so many people who cross your path. Thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you all for watching and listening. This is your host, June Archer, for the Winner Circle Motivate You. Thank y'all for tuning in. Be good to somebody. Tell somebody you love them. Our time here is short. Make it count.
That's
Y'all be
right.
good. Peace.
Bye.
That was dope.